Joining me today is Dr. Roberta Babb from London. She is a clinical psychologist and forensic psychotherapist. Welcome, Dr. Babb. It's great to see you again. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Kerry, and thank you for inviting me to talk with you today.
Oh no, it's a privilege and an honour that you've given up your time today to talk to me today. We've known each other now for 2 years, and you contacted me via the Broadcast Ready website 2 years ago. In fact, 2 years in 1 week, on the 15th of January 2018. Tell me about your journey. Obviously, you've been on television news now quite a lot as a television expert, talking about psychology. What was your thinking back in 2018 when you thought, actually, I want to go on television as well?
Well, there's been a lot of thinking behind the decision. For about 6 years, I've wanted to kind of get into television, and I think it's been really important in terms of helping issues to do with psychology get into the mainstream, but also to help people think differently about their mental health, their relationships, but other issues in the world as well. And I've done a lot of research, and I was kind of thinking, where do I go? Because I didn't feel ready to go on television just by myself. I felt that I needed something. And so I started doing some research, looking at the different agencies out there, the different sorts of advice. And I thought I'd like to speak to someone. And then it kind of got to December and then the new year. And I was like, new year, new me, let's go for it. And that's when I contacted you.
Great. But you said it took 6 years to get to that point. I mean, what was your thinking during that process, and what were you looking at other psychologists on television for that time, and why didn't you apply to go on TV a lot sooner?
I think the reason why I didn't apply to go on a lot sooner was the fact that isn't many psychologists out there on television. And it was really interesting that I was seeing other professionals on it, and I was always wondering, I wonder what psychology would have to say about it. And there's also the thought about actually my clinical work means my clients know a certain version of me. And I was also very wary about my social media footprint, my digital footprint as well, and the impact that might have on my clinical work. So I really took a long time to make sure I was making the right decision, because once you go on, you can't really take that action back. And I wanted to feel comfortable that I was doing the right thing for me. I also wanted to feel comfortable in my profession, that I could speak about issues with authority and confidence and really feel that I had something of value to offer the world.
And it was it around March, April last year in 2019 when you first got on television. You didn't just get one TV interview that day. I believe you got two. You were on BBC Television News, and what was the other one that you were on?
I was on BBC Television News at 10 o'clock and at 8 o'clock.
That's right. Yes, you was in somebody's report, and then you also did a live with a three-way discussion with another person. I remember. Now, how much prep did you put into that? I mean, you are a doctor, and I've worked with doctors before and intelligent people, of which you're definitely one of those. And quite often, when I do work with really intelligent people, they can sort of overcomplicate the process a little bit when they're starting out, because they're like, oh, I need to know this, I need to know this, I need to do a PhD on this subject to be able to talk about it. So did you find that you were like that, and how much prep did you put into those first two interviews?
I was like that. And I think if I'm honest, our conversations were really helpful in terms of, I think my work with you really helped me to see what the process looked like, to really think about what I was communicating and how I was communicating. But also I think your trust in me and your faith in me that I was ready. And I didn't think that I was ready, but you were very much thinking that I was ready. And I did think about it, I did prepare, and I think I had opportunities to say no. But actually, a couple of weeks beforehand, I'd just gone on holiday. I was doing a lot of reflecting, and I was thinking about there's never going to be a right time to go on television, because I'm always going to think I don't know enough. And the reality is just to do it and to try it and to trust the process. And then I said to myself, the next interview that I get offered, that you speak to me about, I'm going to take it. And I did. And that really was how it went. And it was the fear of the fear was much worse than actually doing it. I did know what I've been to, I did know what you talked about. I did know what you had taught me. I did remember it, and I really enjoyed it. And I was thinking, why hadn't I done this sooner? So it really was just making that snap decision to say, I'm going to take the first one that comes up, regardless of what it is, and just go for it. And I do know enough.
Yeah, so really you needed somebody with experience, not just friends and family saying you're good, because we know that their advice is going to be biased. Somebody with experience, like a TV journalist, or a senior PR person who's got people on television a lot, or a TV producer, to say to you, actually, you are good and we want more of you. And maybe if you'd had that many years ago, you might have got on television sooner.
I'm not sure I would have got on television sooner, because I don't think I'd have felt confident in my field. I mean, it takes a lot, I think, to be able to speak with authority about people and apply it to a number of topics. I think what was different is the time you spent with me getting to know me, and I felt I could trust your feedback, because I think in television and in media, people do say things just to get people to do things. And I felt that we took the time to meet. You're really interested in me, who I am, my image, what I'd like to communicate, and really worked with me in our individual sessions to think about how I spoke, how I came across, and what messages I was communicating. And so when you said to me that I was ready, I really believed it, because I felt that we'd been on the journey, and that's what made the huge difference.
Right, so that's an investment in Roberta and Dr. Babb that made you feel more confident, and,
Yes.
and also maybe made you blossom more, I guess. So tell me, how did you feel after the interview, and you posted things? I mean, you're not quite breaking news speed at posting videos on social media, but once you did post them of you up on television, up on social media, what was the reaction and the response from your friends, family and associates?
The response was overwhelmingly positive. I think people were really surprised but really happy, because everyone who knows me I've been speaking about it for a number of years but never had quite done it, and then to actually do it, I think, did surprise people. But the feedback was really positive, and I really felt that on that particular occasion I was talking about the impact of knife crime on young people, and it really felt that different discussions were starting to take place, and it was really nice to be part of something, but also moving something forward through my use of myself on screen.
And you then went on a TV series as a psychologist. It was a TV series about sex and relationships. And tell me, I saw the feedback from that on the likes of LinkedIn, and it was off the scale. A lot of the comments were from doctors and professors, that you work with. What has been the commercial benefits, though, for you in terms of your practice? You've got to practice third eye psychology in London, and I know you're very busy, back-to-back appointments. Have you been getting more inquiries coming through? Have you got more hits to the website? I mean, what's the reaction to you going on TV been?
The reaction's been twofold. There's definitely been more client inquiries, and it's been really nice to see that more and more people are considering therapy as an option to help themselves, and it's not having the same level of shame or stigma attached to it, but people are actually genuinely curious, and actually because they've seen me on television, they have a sense of who I am and how I work, which I think can actually break down the barrier to actually making that first step and making that first inquiry. I think the second thing that's actually been really helpful is that it's helped me to connect with other people in the media. So I've been interviewed for different articles. There's an article in the BPS, the Psychologist magazine, about me. I was also contacted by a journalist called Natasha Lunn, who does Conversations in Love, and we spoke about relationships from different perspectives. So it's been really good in helping to get psychology, psychological thoughts out there, and just making it ordinary. And I couldn't have done that by myself. So it's been really helpful in networking.
So how much would you say the increase in your business inquiries has been then since, the TV interviews?
I would say over the year, probably about 50%.
50%?
Because my practice was quite small before, but then it's definitely increased. So I would say about 50%, yeah.
New inquiries on the back of doing a handful of TV interviews. I mean, Well, yeah, it's a handful because you did the series as well. I think that was how many episodes were you in the?
That was 3, so literally it is a handful. 3, yes.
Yeah, so five episodes
Yes.
total.
But I think the other thing was, I think working with you also helped me to develop my confidence on social media. As you said, I don't have the most responsive social media sort of presence, but it has helped me to feel more confident. And that in itself has been very helpful because people have seen the show or they've seen me on TV and I can engage them in a different way. And that's also been very helpful in posting stuff.
Yeah, so have you managed to get your website up and running now?
No, because I haven't actually needed a website. And it's been very, very interesting. I think the impact of being on television has been enough to generate the work and people are curious. And actually at this moment in time, it hasn't felt needed. I may review it in future, but I really feel like I'm in a good place now where I feel really comfortable and confident. And I know I have options.
That is very a new way of working, not having a website. I mean, I do know some people that are really successful as YouTube bloggers and they don't have a website and they make an incredible sum of money by not having a website. But how are people actually getting hold of you then? If they Google Dr. Roberta Babb on Google, how are they getting hold of you?
Email. That's the easiest way, email. And I think although I don't necessarily have a website, there is definitely a digital footprint of myself. So the articles that I've been involved in, the interviews I've given, different conferences I've spoken at or different trainings. So there is a sense of me out there, just not on a website, but people can quite easily email me and we can then take it from there. So I'm quite easily accessible, which makes it quite easy.
Yeah. Have you got people on Twitter contacting you at all?
On Twitter, no, not on Twitter, but I actually do specifically say on Twitter and Instagram, any direct inquiries to go through my email, because I think that's very helpful in keeping the clinical work in a safe, confidential space rather than having it on an online forum.
Right. And what are the plans for 2020? Are you planning on doing any TV interviews?
I would love to do more television work. I really, really enjoy it, and I definitely have got the bug, and I feel I've got the confidence. So I suppose I'm looking out for opportunities, seeing where my work goes, seeing what sorts of things I'm involved in terms of conferences I'm presenting at or trainings I'm working on, and then seeing what opportunities arise from that as well.
And if a TV interview opportunity does, come up, clearly the amount of prep you did last year, your first TV interview, how much prep time-wise do you think you would do for this TV interview, given that you're more experienced now? I guess what I'm just trying to do is give the viewers a sense of, I've got enough time, how much time is this going to take? It's going to take ages. Is it really worth it?
I think I wouldn't need to do as much preparation because the reality is I know my subjects, and so it is about making sure that I'm doing an interview that actually fits with my area of interest and my area of expertise. And then once that is identified, then actually it's about having the confidence to have a conversation. Interviews are conversations with people, and I think when I really held that in mind, it seemed a lot less scary and a lot more fun and engageable. That's not even a word. A lot more fun and engaging.
So we were talking about what your plans are this year in 2020. You said that you'd love to do more TV interviews again, and because you've done the media training. I think we did 2 TV media training sessions, didn't we?
But 2 individual ones, that was really important. To have the individual attention and the individual feedback was really important.
Why do you think it was important to have 2 rather than 1?
For me, it was about the time between the 2. I had an opportunity to think about what I'd learned, to practice, to then think about myself and what I wanted to be portraying on television, and then going back and then just having another go. So it's like a practice run. And it was really important then to get the feedback from you in terms of my development and then further tweaking where I could improve. So for me, going on television was very much a process.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I highly recommend that people do more than 1 television media training day. I come across a lot of people in PR and they're like, my spokespersons have media training. They did it 6 years ago and they've been on Sky once. Well, you need to do specific TV media training because it's not print. That's number 1. The print training isn't the same as TV. And also, if you look at from across the country on the news. They are doing TV reports day in, day out on local news before even national news will touch them 2 years later. So no one's going to be a fantastic orator without doing definitely more than one TV media training session.
And it's a practice in between. I think that for me was the important thing. It's not that I just did the training, it's like I'm ready to go. It was about practicing and making sure that I felt confident and it felt authentic. And the training that I did with you about the different types of media, so the radio, the to camera, and all those sorts of things was really, really important, because I felt very, very versatile in terms of I can deal with whatever context I find myself within.
Yes, yes. There's a bit of feedback here, isn't there?
I can't hear anything.
I hear it. I've got aliens in my computer. Yeah, I mean, definitely having. Yeah, what I was going to say was people have got the technology nowadays, so they can get the media training with the the TV journalist, the expert like myself, but it's putting in the work when they get home, and they can do that on Zoom, they can do that on Skype video, they can do that on the mobile phone video, they can do that on the laptop, the computer. There really is no excuses anymore to not put that time, that effort in at home between TV, professional TV media training days, to make yourself look good, sound good, and say exactly what you need to say in the way that you want to say it, and not leave that interview thinking, oh, the reporter didn't ask me X, Y, Z, or I forgot to say X, Y, Z, because you've practiced, you've had the training. It's really just like riding a bike.
Exactly. And that was very helpful as well, really giving me the confidence to actually have the authority in the interview to actually get my point across, regardless of whether being asked it. There's a way you can bring these issues in a way that feels natural, but at the same time really gets my point across.
Yeah, and that's a gift. That's definitely a gift, because you've got to make these TV interviews work for you as well. You're giving up your time, you're giving up your money. So you have to make it work for yourself. Now, tell me, I have a client, for instance, that I got on television March 2019, and he still gets people walking up to him saying they saw him on TV in March 2019. Do you still get people walking up to you or calling you, texting you, or when you get, when you see them again and say, oh, I saw you on that program a year ago?
No, I don't. I think, unfortunately, I don't. I think a lot of people look like me.
No, I mean, or even people that you know, though, maybe.
That have said that they've seen on television. Yes, that's very strange. Or my parents will ring me and say, oh, so-and-so saw you on television. And so it is a bit strange to think there's people out there, of course they would be, watching me on television, but actually I know them or they know my family.
Yeah, and the fact that it didn't just happen in March or, whenever the program's TX, it's still trickling in months, if not over a year later. I guess that's my main point, that it's like the gift that keeps on giving, isn't it, getting on television? Very much so,
very much so.
So what would you say, Dr. Babb, to people watching this program today who are like you, where you were during that 6-year period, thinking, actually, maybe I could go on TV as an expert, given they're doing it? What would you say to them? What should they do, basically?
I would say make the decision and commit to the decision to do it. Work towards your goal, which is about having media training, if you can, individual, but a group is fine. Practicing, and like I did, take the first opportunity that comes up, because we are very good at convincing ourselves that we're not ready. And actually, once you've done it, and you wonder what you were worrying about in the first place.
Yeah, so it's a case of just do it.
Just do it. Yes.
And then reap the rewards.
Yeah, and enjoy it. I mean, it's a privilege to be on television. It's a privilege to be able to have the opportunity to speak to people about something I feel very passionate about, which is people, psychology, mental health, and how it can be applied to nearly everything. So enjoy the opportunities to make a difference and really take that forward. You never know who you're going to affect, who's going to listen, or what impact you're going to have. And that's a really nice idea.
And who's going to be emailing you a year later asking to work with you because they've seen you on TV.
Very much so.
Well, thank you very much for joining me today, Dr. Roberta Babb. It's a pleasure
Kerry.
to talk to you and to see you again, as usual.
You too.
Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you very much. You too, Kerry. Bye-bye.